set, hit.
Welcome to Out of Bounds, presented by Isaac's Roofing and Sheet Metal.
Thanks for tuning in tonight. We hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. It was a pretty good holiday weekend for the Wildcats. Kentucky retains the Governor's Cup after a blowout win over Louisville, and Lynn Bowden locks in his status as a Kentucky legend.
Bowden's best performance of the year comes in the regular season finale against Louisville, and this one will be forever remembered as the Lynn Bowden game.
He was simply unstoppable against the Cardinals. They knew what was coming and could not do anything about it.
So let's look at the top plays from Lynn Bowden, presented by Kentucky Greenleaf.
Bowden ran for 284 yards, 284, and 4 touchdowns. He broke several records along the way. Lynn Bowden now has the single game record for most rushing yards by a quarterback in SEC history.
He averaged 12.9 yards a carry. That's the third highest single game average in SEC history by a running back, quarterback, any back.
Bowden now has the second most rushing yards this season in the SEC, and he's done it in 7 games, really. Bowden also leads the SEC at just over 8 yards per carry this year.
That also ranks third in the country. One more crazy number, which comes courtesy of the Athletics' Kyle Tucker. Bowden has more rushing yards in these last 7 games than the top 4 leading rushers in college football have had over the same stretch.
Wild.
For more on Bowden, here are the top play comments sponsored by the Bob Allen Motor Mall.
What can you say about Lynn? He is truly remarkable in so many ways, but you have to recognize his competitive nature and just how tough and competitive and what a leader he is. And in our business, if you're going to be an alpha dog, then you be an alpha dog, and that's him. And when you do that time and time again and prove it and put the team on your back and say, let's ride, let's do this, it's remarkable.
I really don't want to talk about me, though. We just talk about that old line, the best in the nation. So.
How do you reward those guys?
Man, whenever I get rich, I'm going to take them out to dinner, and we're going to spend as much money as they want. I hear you, big dog.
He's phenomenal player. Like, there's nothing he can't do. I mean, might as well put him on a basketball team, too. I mean, play basketball, you run the ball, throw the ball, do anything. Probably could play soccer, too. I don't know.
Now, this game was definitely still in doubt at halftime, and I don't think anyone thought that this would wind up being a 45-13 final score in favor of the Cats.
Yeah, no, those last 30 seconds of the first half felt like a turning point in the game for Louisville. The Cats quickly got to the line of scrimmage to go for it on 4th and 1 and snapped the ball without eating more of the clock.
Yeah, so when UK didn't convert, Louisville was left with enough time to run a couple plays, and one of those, right here, a 56-yard touchdown run to cut UK's lead from 17-6 to 17-13 heading into halftime. The decision to go for it by Stoops was widely criticized on social media, but Lynn Bowden told Stoops, I got you.
I went for it there, trying to be aggressive. It kind of backfired on us. I thought our defense would get a stop. To take that kind of a gut punch when you feel like you're completely dominating, sometimes can take the wind out of your sail, but it didn't, not one bit with this group. Came right back in here, didn't flinch. Lynn said, don't worry about it, I got you. And he did.
He was just a little frustrated. We didn't get the 4th and 1, and then they broke it, I just told him I got him, just calm down, I just was telling him that the whole time in the locker room. And, we was chirping back and forth, me and their team, and, it just kind of upset me. So I just came out with a different mentality the second half and let it eat from there.
Let it eat from there, he said.
There you go. And after Bowden's record-setting day, there were several reactions from former players and media who covered the SEC. Here are a few of those now.
Beginning with Josh Allen. The Jacksonville Jaguars tweeted out this video of Allen today throwing the L's down. As he entered the Jags facility, Allen, just one of many former Wildcats, tweeting reaction to UK's big win, and he had a sack today.
Yeah, franchise leader now. SEC Network host Peter Burns tweeted out, for 7 weeks in a row, every single team knew Kentucky would be one-dimensional with Lynn Bowden at quarterback. It doesn't matter. He's crushing people. Give him the Paul Hornig Award.
And UK assistant coach Vince Marrow tweets, "I'm going on record to say Lynn Bowden is the best football player in the country. Go Big Blue." No argument here, coach.
No argument at all. CBS Sports college football writer Barrett Sallee tweets that Bowden should be remembered for having one of the best seasons in SEC history. The records Bowden has broken certainly supports this statement.
And then this is Bowden retweeting this photo from Kyle Tucker of The Athletic showing an emotional Bowden kneeling on the UK logo following the win over Louisville. Bowden tweets, "I love you, Lexington, Kentucky, BBN, and my teammates, coaches, and our whole program at UK."
Well, you could tell that that game meant a whole lot to Bowden, but maybe it was because it was his last game at Kroger Field.
I think so. I mean, I think he knew it heading into this game that this was essentially his senior day. And he wanted to make it a memorable one, which he absolutely did.
Yeah, his emotions said as much, and there's little doubt that the feedback he's going to get from the NFL will be positive. I'd expect we'll know Bowden's decision before the bowl game, like last year with Josh Allen. Will he play in that bowl game? We're going to discuss that in a little bit.
And coming up next on Out of Bounds, more from UK's win over Louisville. Like what that Wildcats defense did to the Cards next. We discussed what Lynn Bowden did against Louisville, but he had just a little more than half of the yards the Cats put up against the Cards because everybody got involved.
Yeah, Bowden wasn't the only one breaking records. UK's 517 yards rushing broke the school record for most in a game, which was just set last week. But before that, it had stood since 1951.
It's the most rushing yards in the NCAA this season for an FBS team against another FBS school. And UK also set the new school record for most rushing yards in a season. That record was set back in 1974.
UK averaged 12.9 yards per rush, which is a new SEC single game record. Kentucky also set a new school record for rushing touchdowns in a season with 33.
Yeah, obviously Coach John Schlarman and his offensive line deserves a ton of credit. I mean, this was UK's third straight game of more than 400 yards rushing. Kentucky finishes the regular season as the SEC's #1 rushing offense.
Yeah, that was our goal, you know, just to beat last week's record. So we wanted 500. We knew we could do it. We came out here and did it. So
Anytime you could run the ball for 521 yards, you're going to have a good opportunity to win a game.
I mean, you know, they're ACC school. They're not used to people running between the tackles like we are, so I think that really helped us out. They got some smaller guys on the defensive line. They didn't have a guy over 300 pounds today, so it really helped out with that.
Well, on the flip side, the Kentucky defense got it done against one of the most explosive offenses in the country. Louisville entered the game tied for first nationally with the most plays of 40 or more yards this season.
Yeah. UK limited Louisville to one play. One of 40 or more yards, that 56-yard touchdown run before halftime. And the Cats kept the Cards off the scoreboard in the entire second half. Domination.
This is the third straight game UK has held the opponent scoreless in the second half, which hadn't happened at UK since 1985. The Cats complete the regular season without allowing a single opponent to score 30 points all year.
That's a ridiculous stat. And Kentucky had a season-high 13 tackles for loss and a season-high tying 6 sacks against the Cardinals. UK's 32 sacks this season are the third most in the SEC this season, 1 year after Josh Allen leaves, which is pretty amazing and a testament to Brad White and what he's done this year.
No doubt.
And one more note on the Cats from yesterday. The special teams came up big early in the game when Louisville tried to trick them.
Yeah, in the second quarter on 4th down and 6 from its own 33-yard line, Louisville loaded up on the line on one side of the punt formation, and that Cats were not fooled.
It was a great-looking play. Looked nice. But the UK defenders stayed home and stopped the Cardinals short, which gave UK a short field and led to a Matt Ruffalo 45-yard field goal.
Yeah, how about that? Ruffalo nailing that kick in the rain. I mean, that was phenomenal.
He drilled that.
And since we're talking special teams, a mega shout out to UK punter Max Duffy, who finishes the regular season as the nation's leading punter with an average of 48.62 yards per punt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's special.
He's something else. And coming up next on Out of Bounds, what was Louisville coach Scott Satterfield doing at the end of the game with L's down? Mark Stoops' reaction is next. The Governor's Cup provided us with some cool moments Saturday beyond the plays on the field, like some of the signs and post-game poses. So here's a look at a few of those.
We have an L's down sign. I mean, you got to have that. But my favorite crowd shot is this I was stupid. That's the best right there.
That's awesome. Then you also had UK's offensive line posing with the Governor's Cup trophy. And, of course, they all have those L's down.
And then there was this. What is Louisville coach Scott Satterfield doing?
You know, that's a good question. We haven't received any confirmation of exactly why he's doing that. But he appears to be complaining about seeing L's down from, other players or something.
Yeah, Mark Stoops is standing there when Satterfield does it, and someone asked Stoops about it after the game.
I don't know. I mean, at the end, it got weird because they called a timeout, and then we got a sack, and then it's like a fumble, and there was some ruckus and all that. But our team was very respectful all day, So I don't know if, if an L's down is going to offend them, there's going to be a lot worse in this rivalry over time. So.
Well, I kind of agree with them. I mean, I know that Louisville hates the L's down, but if you had a hand signal with L's up, then it's only natural that your rival is going to use it against you.
It's the same thing with Texas and, the horns up thing. I mean, you're just not going to stop
it's football.
the L's down thing.
It's football.
You're just not going to stop that ever.
And it adds to the rivalry. It's kind of cool when you see stuff like that in a rivalry game. So let's move on now, though, to bowl game projections. Where is UK going? The official word will not come until next Sunday after those conference championship games, but there are a few scenarios already that seem like likely destinations for the Wildcats.
Yeah, the three that seem to fit all the criteria for UK are the Gator Bowl in Jacksonville, the Liberty Bowl in Memphis, and then there's the Belk Bowl in Charlotte.
The Gator Bowl would, of course, be the best. Sunshine, sunglasses, beach.
Yeah.
Because
Sign me
it's in
up.
Florida. Yeah, sign us all up, right? UK played Northwestern in the Gator Bowl 3 years ago, and one projection has UK meeting Mark Stoops' alma mater, Iowa, in this season's Gator Bowl, which would be really cool, and that will be played on January 2nd.
Yeah, now I've seen two projections for Kentucky and Iowa State in the Liberty Bowl, that's in Memphis, of course, on December 31st, and then another projection of UK and Pittsburgh in the Belk Bowl there in Charlotte. That would also be played on New Year's Eve. That's my least favorite.
Yeah.
That's
Charlotte,
the least enticing
Pittsburgh.
one. Yeah.
Completely agree. But once the conference championship games are settled next weekend, we will find out.
Yeah, but we won't know. I mean, is Lynn Bowden going to play in this game? Remember what happened last year? We knew Josh Allen and Benny Snell were headed to the NFL. But it feels to me, I mean, I would say 90% that Lynn Bowden is going to the NFL. So if that's the case, he knows. But But the offense for 7 games now is Lynn Bowden. Does he play?
And I think because of what Josh and Benny did last year, you kind of will want to follow in that legacy and play. And based on what he has so much passion for this school and for the game of football, and I don't see a scenario where he does not play. Yes, if he gets hurt, it would cause his draft stock to drip pretty dramatically, but at the same time, he has so much pride in the school. I think he wants to finish it on the right note.
I mean, just seeing his picture on the UK logo at the end of the game and how much heart he has behind it, I think it is very similar to Josh and Benny, so I couldn't imagine him not playing.
Yeah, think about this scenario. Lynn Bowden standing there in street clothes watching his teammates.
No.
It's not happening.
It's hard to picture.
No,
It's not happening. Well, still to come up next on Out of Bounds, it's Twitter Fire, including Ellen Calipari's birthday cake and some fun moments from the Iron Bowl. Welcome back to Out of Bounds. We have Ellen Calipari's hilarious birthday cake, a few funny moments from the Iron Bowl, and more from social media this weekend. It's time for Twitter Fire, brought to you by C2G Environmental. Yesterday was Ellen Calipari's birthday, and her husband, a.k.a. roommate, tweeted out photos of her birthday cake.
I mean, this was perfect. If you don't follow Ellen on Instagram, then you don't know the story, but she's always posting photos of the trash bins at their house and how Coach Cal is never around to take them down to the curb on trash day. And she also refers to Coach Cal on Instagram as roommate. So this is spectacular.
That's fantastic.
Well, Coach Cal also tweeted out his wife's birthday present,
which was getting to see son Brad play in person on her birthday yesterday, which is really special. Brad, of course, is now a member of the Detroit Mercy basketball team, which played at Ohio on Saturday and rallied to cut a 25-point deficit down to 1, but lost 91-81. Brad started and played 23 minutes. He hit 2 of 5 threes and finished with 6 points.
Good for Brad.
Now to football, and yesterday's Iron Bowl saw Alabama coach Nick Saban throw a temper tantrum.
I mean, Saban had good reason to lose his mind. Auburn got a first down with 1 second left before the half. The clock said 0, though, so there was an official review. That gave Auburn the chance to line up for a field goal and snap the ball the moment the refs blew the whistle for play to begin. The Tigers hit that field goal and won the game by a field goal.
Lee K tweeted this video and said, "When I'm trying to get my 3-year-old to go to bed."
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, that was funny.
It's pretty intense. And after Auburn won the game, some fans fought through the hedges to storm the field.
How much liquid courage does this take?
A lot.
This woman wasn't the only one who got stuck in the bushes, too. I've seen other funny videos out there of fans just disappearing, never to be seen again. Hopefully they'll come back at some point.
Well, moving on to Bowling Green and a special senior day for a Lexington native.
Lafayette's Lucky Jackson with a 64-yard TD gives WKU its first lead of the day on the way to a 31-26 win over Middle Tennessee on Lucky's senior day. He finished with 8 catches for 110 yards and that touchdown. He leads Conference USA with 77 catches this season and is third in Hilltoppers history in both receptions and receiving yards. He still has the bowl game to go with an 8-win Western club.
And finally, congrats to UK volleyball team.
Yeah, the Cats three-peats as SEC champs after beating Ole Miss yesterday. It's the first time in school history winning 3 consecutive conference titles, and UK's Leah Edmond, to no surprise, is the SEC Player of the Year for the 2nd straight season. So congrats to Coach and Craig Skinner and the gang. They'll have a deep run in the tournament once again.
Yeah, that selection show's going on, right?
Yes.
We should know that by the time this airs.
And they'll host a match next weekend or 2.
Yeah,
So.
all right.
When we return on Out of Bounds, why is Clemson's coach so salty after stomping rival South Carolina? Welcome back to Out of Bounds. Each week we close with an entertaining comment from a coach, and this week it's Clemson's Dabo Sweeney. His Tigers tossed South Carolina with ease yesterday, but he believes nothing that Clemson does is enough for College Football Playoff Committee. Here is Dabo's rant in our Coach's Corner, brought to you by West Shore Home.
I mean, it's huge from a national standpoint because obviously if we lose this game, I mean, they're going to kick us out. They don't want us in there anyway. I mean, we'd drop to 20, you know. I mean, Georgia loses to this very same team, and the very next day it's how do we keep Georgia in it? We win to the team that beat South Carolina, and it's how do we get Clemson out? It's the dadgummest thing. So it's big because, you know, they can't vote us out. I mean, we gotta go under. We gotta go 30-0. I mean, we ain't got no choice because we don't play nobody. So, I mean, it's big from a national standpoint, but it's huge for this state, and it's huge for our programming.
He's right.
I got to tell Maria, she was saying, is it Dabo? Dabo? What is it?
I've heard it only a million times.
It's Dabo. Just say Dabo.
Yeah.
So I think you put it in there so that you would say Dabo.
Yeah,
and, then you said
and it messed
Dabo.
me up
Yeah.
phonetically,
That's all right.
so messed up myself. It's not the first time. It's fine.
No, but the UK volleyball team,
Yeah.
that selection show is out, so we do know, right?
Yeah, they're going to host 2 matches next weekend. They host Southeast Missouri on Friday night. If they win, they'll face either Northern Kentucky or Michigan with a chance to go to the Sweet 16. So once again, congrats to Leah and the ladies.
Absolutely. UK volleyball team has had a sensational season.
have.
By this time next Sunday, we will be talking about UK's bowl game. They usually have a press conference where Mitch Barnhart talks on Sunday afternoon. So we'll hear all about it and talk about the UK bowl game next Sunday on Out of Bounds.
Should be fun.
So we'll see you then. Thanks for joining.